Welcome to the Silver Screen Guide podcast, where we discuss films from every genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. Happy New Year, listeners. Alan and I are back to discuss our most anticipated movies of 2019. We hope you all had a fun and safe New Year, and you've been watching some great movies between now and then. Before we jumped into our most anticipated movies of 2019, we wanted to just take a quick moment to reflect back on our most anticipated movies of 2018 and how those played out now that we saw most of them. And we did do a podcast over that, so we're not going to recreate that whole podcast here, but we are going to see kind of how some of those results panned out. I also wanted to mention how many movies in total I saw in 2018. I know Alan mentioned he saw, I believe, 52. You can go and listen to that in his Best and Worst podcast of 2018. As for me, I saw 72. So it's kind of funny how you saw 52, I saw 72. Kind of right on the dot there.
20 off. 20 off.
20 off. The only difference is I graduated about 6 months before him, so gave me a little extra time to speed ahead with some of those 2018 watches.
Right. I would say that 52 is a pretty good number for, still being in school at the time. So yeah, I suppose it's not too bad of a number.
Oh no, 52 is good by any stretch of the imagination, because most people don't even see that. But
right,
being a part-time film critic and part-time college student, well, full-time college student, and I guess honestly a bit of a full-time critic there, doing a review every month.
Right.
So, a review every week, I should say. So, yeah, pretty good. And I'm hoping to even top that this year, right. The 72. We'll see.
Right. I have to say that most of that was due to the fact that, MoviePass was totally a thing before it kind of went nuts and then just kind of stopped working. Although apparently they are having new plans that are apparently supposed to be much better. Of course, I can't get one. I know you and I both can't get one for a little bit because we canceled our plans. We had to wait like 9 months or something crazy like that. So hopefully this time will actually be good.
They actually did away with that rule. So, Alan,
really?
We can split the MoviePass cost if you want. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. But let's look at my most anticipated movies for 2018. So, my top 10 real quick. We're starting with number 1, Halloween, Ready Player One, Incredibles 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, Solo: A Star Wars Story, Avengers: Infinity War, The Jungle Book, the Andy Serkis version, The Girl in the Spider's Web, and Mortal Engines. Well, Halloween was my number 1 most anticipated movie for 2018. Turns out it was actually my most disappointing movie of 2018. You can go and hear more why in our review of the movie and also in the podcast that I did for the worst movies of 2018. Disappointed by that. Incredibles 2, number 3, that does surprise me. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I picked well, placing that within the top 5. I thought that was a great movie. I didn't even see Fantastic Beasts 2 yet. I will, but I heard it was okay. And I rewatched the first one, and it really wasn't that good. The Jungle Book, Andy Serkis one, that didn't even come to theaters. That movie has a storied history, and it ultimately came to Netflix just like last month, I think.
Oh, wow.
And it was okay. It was fine. I didn't get to see The Girl in the Spider's Web yet. I do have the book. I've owned it for many years. I want to read that first. I love the Lisbeth Salander series. And I haven't seen Mortal Engines yet. I've been reading it, the book, and I heard the movie really wasn't that good, so that's probably going to be a rental.
And for me, actually, this is kind of interesting because I have 2 on here that I had on the most anticipated list that weren't in my top 10, but they were supposed to come out in 2018, namely Captive State and some Untitled Lakia project, the guys who did Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings. Neither of which came out back in 2018. In fact, Captive State is on my 2019 list. We'll kind of get to that in a second. But my top 10, not really in any order here, is Hao Ji Lee, Early Man, Nostalgia, Hannah, Isle of Dogs, Quiet Place, Cloverfield Paradox, which at the time we didn't have a name for, the Untitled Lakia Project, which I just mentioned, Incredibles 2, First Man, Girl in the Spider's Web, Widows, and Welcome to Marwen, of which I've only seen First Man, Widows, Incredibles 2, the Cloverfield movie, Quiet Place, and Isle of Dogs. So about half of the top 10 that I had, I've seen. Other than that, the others I haven't heard like anything about for the most part, aside from maybe what was it I just mentioned? Oh yeah, Girl in the Spider's Web. I've heard a little bit about, but other than that, the rest of them I haven't really heard much of anything worth of note about them. So, and some of them I don't even know if some of them have even come out.
Yeah, I went ahead and took a look through because I broke it down by month, like the movies I wanted to see for that month. And it looks like I got to see nearly all of the movies that I wanted to see last year. There was a couple I didn't get to see, and a couple I purposely chose not to go see, like the new Robin Hood movie. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we do chronicle some of this information because it is kind of neat to see how it changes from the beginning of the year, and then some of these movies don't even come out, such as X-Men Dark Phoenix. That was supposed to come out November 2018, and that's not coming out till into this year. And also, originally, the Goosebumps movie was supposed to be called Goosebumps Horrorland, and I didn't even remember that. Now it's called Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween, I'm pretty sure, and I haven't seen it yet.
Have you seen the first one?
Yeah, I did see the first one. My girlfriend and I took her younger brother to go see it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I watched the first one by myself. I think it was like on Netflix or something. That's how I was able to watch it. Quite the movie.
Yeah. Well, also in July, coming up against Teen Titans Go to the movie was supposed to be an Untitled DC Comics film.
Yeah.
And I believe I heard over on Now Playing Arnie talking about how it was supposed to be another animated one that instead went like direct to DVD. Or no, it actually like premiered on the Disney Channel instead of either of those.
Interesting. Well, I mean, at least it premiered on Disney Channel where, a lot of people watch that instead of going straight to DVD, which I'm sure it'll probably end up in some fashion. And
also that Untitled Leica project was supposed to come out in May, but now we know what that is. And that is coming out this year. We'll talk about that in a bit. And also in April, Cloverfield was supposed to come out, but that came out in February on the Super Bowl day.
Yeah, like a surprise to everybody.
Yeah. Moved up a few months. Also, The New Mutants was supposed to be in April, but then I believe it got moved towards like the end of the year, and then it got removed again to this year. So maybe we'll see The New Mutants this year. It's been moved a bunch. It's been done for a few years now.
Right. It is kind of funny because some of the things I have on here that were in my top 10, like I believe I mentioned I talked about this movie, The Happy Time Murders, in my list of the year, and it's funny because it ended up being my most hated movie of that year that came out, and it's on my list here of the ones that I was most anticipated for. I can't remember what I said about that movie, if I was excited for it or if I was intrigued by it, but it is just kind of funny that this movie and a few others, of course, as well, like Skyscraper. Oh yeah, Alita Battle Angel was supposed to come out last year too. It's on my list, but it hasn't been released yet. It's going to come out in a couple, I think this month actually, or next month.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. So.
Another one of those movies that's been moved a lot.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because my best movie of the year, which was Christopher Robin, didn't even make my top 10 most anticipated.
Really?
Yeah, so it's just funny how it works out like that. So that's why it's good to go back and check. And there's also a number of movies, like Annihilation was on my best of the year. That wasn't on here. So pretty much my top 10 most anticipated, only a couple actually made it onto the best of the year.
Right.
I'll have to make a better table comparison of those lists to actually look at them.
Right. Yeah, I know that I have on here Ralph Breaks the Internet 2, or Wreck-It Ralph 2, but Ralph Breaks the Internet. And I ended up not going to see that because I was just like, I don't really feel like it, even though it was on my list.
Yeah, it was on my list too. It wasn't, I highlighted the ones in bold that I really wanted to see, and it wasn't highlighted in bold. I do want to see it, but I haven't seen that one yet. I'll see it eventually. So, and of course, there was a lot of movies that came out last year that weren't announced at the beginning of the year that weren't on our list, and that will be the exact same case when we talk here about our movies we want to see in 2019. Not all of these movies have for next year have even been announced yet, so we can't know all of those as well. And also, some of these movies very well may shift around. They may come out in different times throughout the year. But as of right now, I made my list last week. That's what IMDb had listed, so that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, and I made mine this morning. I went through the list, and once you get to around April and May, the list begins to dwindle, and you start seeing a lot of plot is unknown with no cover art on them, just the title of the movie. So, yeah, this list, of course, will change over time, and more titles will be added to it once they're announced. One of the biggest things is independent films. They sometimes are given a release date, but that's only for select limited amount of theaters in an area, and they won't get a wide release if it ever gets one until much later. So some of these on my list are TBD if they will even come out, that I can, at least in a fashion that most people can see them. That's just how it runs.
So, Alan, did you break everything down by month, or did you just go through and say these are my most anticipated?
Well, okay, so I went straight through the list, so technically they're by month. They're in chronological order of when they're supposed to be released. So that's how the list is laid out on my end.
Okay. The way I did it, listeners, was I kind of made a table, and I have the title and the month, and I put down every movie that I want to see. Now, some of these movies you'll hear, and you'll think, Corbin, why would you want to see that garbage movie? Well, for that very reason, because it's fun to watch some bad movies that year as well, so Alan and I can privately rip them to shreds with the rest of our friends.
Right.
And so that's why you'll hear some questionable choices on here. But so basically what I did was I wrote down all of the movies, and I kind of separated them by month. And then I went into each month and I highlighted the movies that I wanted. I really do want to see for that month. If I see any movie that for that month, it's got to be this one. So then I kind of put them in, because I had to break it down, because I put down 99 movies.
Okay. So you've got a lot.
But then I kind of broke it down into 23 movies as, these are the most anticipated movies. But then, listeners, I know you would probably want more of a top 10, and so would I. Kind of broke, so I could put a definitive number on this is my number one movie. And then I kind of siphoned them down a little bit as well. And then I also mentioned what I thought would probably be the best months this year, the worst months, the meh months, and the biggest months.
Gotcha. Yeah, mine's somewhat similar. I actually only have 18 in total here, and I've highlighted the ones that are my most anticipated up to 10. There's only 10 there. But yeah, like I mentioned just a second ago, mine are the way my list is laid out, they're in chronological order by the time that they come out. So the first one is going to be coming out the soonest, and the last one's going to be coming out towards the later half of the year, maybe even December. I can't remember if that's the month it's coming out in. So yeah, that's how my list is laid out in, I guess, more of a detailed fashion.
Okay. So we can go ahead and just jump in and start listing off the movies that we thought caught our fancy, caught our eye, and then I'll talk about the meh months and the good months, all the different months, and then I'll kind of give you my top 10 to round it out. So for January, the movies that caught my eye were Escape Room, Replicas, The Upside. The big one that I do want to see in January is Glass. Then after that, Arctic Justice, Thunder Squad, What? Why is this a movie coming out? I don't know. Serenity and The Kid Who Would Be King.
For me, the only one that's in January that I'm somewhat excited to see is Bricked. High school student finds himself in turmoil with his family as he battles coping with bipolar disorder. Sounds kind of interesting. I did look at the director, Alicia Kauser, and this is her directorial debut. She's only done shorts, so it looked kind of interesting to me to check out. But other than that, this is really the only one that looks pretty interesting to me, and this is coming out, looks like later into the January, towards the end of the month.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have Bricked on my list. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like the very last one there on IMDb for January.
Okay. So you don't want to see Glass?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not too excited for it. Although I thought, let's see, what was the last movie he made? What was it called?
Split. We watched it together
Split,
last
that's
year.
the one. Yeah. Although I found it to be a good movie, I'm not terribly excited for Glass, to be honest with you.
Okay, party pooper. All right. Moving on to February. Well, at the beginning of February, so did you see it, Alan? I mentioned it yesterday to you. Jacob's Ladder.
You did. I actually do have that on my list, and it's in the top 10, because I did recently just watch Jacob's Ladder, a few days ago before recording this. So I'm curious to see where it's going to go. I don't really know if it's going to be that good, because I looked at the director, and I haven't seen any of his movies. And they don't look like anyone. They're not ones that I have heard of either. So we'll see. I don't know if it'll be the same as the original from 1990, which I find to be quite good. We'll see.
I haven't seen it yet. I will have to see it before I see the new one, especially if it's streaming right now. But I've heard lots of good things about it. I know a professor of mine from college really liked this. Well, he still likes it, Jacob's Ladder. So the next movie for February that caught my eye was Arctic, a Mads Mikkelsen film, and he's also coming out in a Netflix film later on called Polar, and I think they both have to do with the cold, as the titles may insinuate. And yeah, well, then after that, the Lego Movie, the second part, comes out. That's the only movie for February that I really want to see, and it comes out just a couple days before my birthday. So it's kind of been a trend now to go see a Lego movie for my birthday, because last year, I believe, was the Lego Batman movie, or if it wasn't last year, it was the year before. But regardless, it seems to kind of be a bit of a trend now. So I do want to see that. And then Alita Battle Angel, Isn't It Romantic, looks pretty funny for a Valentine's Day movie. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, which I honestly didn't care for the first two that much. So the third one doesn't look that bad. And the guy who's the main voice actor tampered down his voice, so it's actually bearable for me to sit through, hopefully. And Chaos Walking, which is got Tom Holland and the girl who plays Rey in the Star Wars movies, I think. I've heard nothing about this, but yeah, those are the movies for February.
For me, of those you mentioned, I've got Lego Movie 2. Oh, okay. Jacob's Ladder, of course. Lego Movie 2, Todos los Samben, Isn't It Romantic, and How to Train Your Dragon 2. Or 3, I guess. Now, I'm a bit skeptical on the Lego Movie 2, the second part. I've looked at the directors, and they haven't exactly done things that look all that great or were all that great. This could be, once again, one of those things where it's kind of a surprise, where it actually is fine. I did really enjoy the first one. I owned it on DVD for a while, and then I sold it because I moved to a Blu-ray collection. Todos los Samben looks interesting because it's got Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem in it. It looks kind of interesting to me. That looks like it's going to be a foreign film, which is even... I'm also very curious to see what it's going to be like. I think the English translation for that is Everybody Knows. Is It Romantic? Honestly, doesn't look that great, and it almost looks like crap. She had a movie that came out. Amy Schumer had a movie that came out last year.
I Feel Pretty.
I think that's the one. I Feel Pretty, which I heard was a total bomb. It was not great. So that kind of looks in the same vein. We'll see what happens with it. I did get to see the trailer for that one too, and it really didn't look very appetizing. In How to Train Your Dragon 3, I've seen the first two, and I remember liking them both, but I've only seen the second one when it was in theaters, so that was like 2012 or something. So I haven't exactly returned to them yet, but I do remember liking that in the theater. So we'll see about this third one.
Now for March. March looks to be a pretty big month, and a few of the months after that as well. Kicking off March, Captain Marvel. I am looking forward to seeing that, but I'm even more looking forward to seeing Jordan Peele's new movie, Us, which the trailer is frightening.
Yes, I did get to see this trailer for that, and it does look very good. That's on my top 10 is Us. It looks quite good. I know we were both pretty big fans of of his first work that actually was nominated for a bunch of Oscars. Get Out. That's right. So I'm excited for that one to see what he can turn out, because it seems that he's very capable of being a very good horror director, just judging by his first work. So I'm curious to see what Us is about. Another one I've got on here is The Mustang, that is about this guy who is able to get this relationship with a horse. So it looks kind of interesting. And I think Captive State is in this month.
Yep, it is.
Yep, that's another one. That was the one that was on my 2018 list, and that didn't come out in that year. Supposedly it's coming out this year, which now it has cover art and a plot description, so looks to be pretty promising that it's going to actually be released. But yeah, those are, I guess, the three that are coming out this month that I have on my list. Only one of which is on my top 10, which is Us.
Yeah, the other ones, I do have The Mustang as well, and I do have Captive State. I also have Wonder Park, which looks to be pretty decent for an animated movie. The Aftermath, The Hummingbird Project, 5 Feet Apart, The Informer, The Beach Bum, where Matthew McConaughey looks crazy, and of course Dumbo. I personally think looks to be really good as the latest Tim Burton Disney movie. So Captain Marvel, Us, and Dumbo for the month of March.
I did get to see a trailer for Where'd You Go, Bernadette, and doesn't look very good. We'll see. I guess it doesn't exactly come out, but it doesn't really look all that great. This just looks like one of those like Paper Towns kind of movies, which do not intrigue me whatsoever. Might intrigue a different crowd, but that one I saw the trailer for, and I was like, I don't know about that.
Now for the month of April, we got Shazam, the remake of Pet Sematary, The Best of Enemies, which looks pretty good. Hellboy is one for the month I do really want to see. I'm a big Hellboy fan, and I'm hoping this new one can do the series justice and be good. The Leica movie that we talked about, that didn't come out last year, came out about a year later, The Missing Link.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I did actually see the title for this spec. I didn't make the connection that this was the Lakia project that was actually going to be releasing. I didn't realize that. It looked like an animated movie to me. So a CGI movie, CGI. So that's why I kind of overlooked it. I was just like, eh.
There's also The Curse of La Llorona, which looked interesting. Under Silver Lake, which is a A24 movie, which was supposed to come out last year, but it didn't. High Life, Avengers Endgame is coming out in April, so yes. That's really early. I expected that to be more of a summer blockbuster. And finally, The Intruder.
Now, for this month, I only have 2, but they're both on my top 10 list. So I don't know how to pronounce this correctly. Mangarkhan actually released in 2017, apparently, and is now getting a full release this year. It's some foreign film about a man who ends up going down a dark path when he's looking for his child. So it looks kind of interesting. And then High Life, I know you mentioned that one. This one's also my top 10. Looks pretty interesting from this month. But this does look like a very big month, but nothing too much here. It looks very intriguing to me. Maybe Under the Silver Lake. That looks pretty interesting, but I mean, we'll see when it comes out. That isn't for a while.
For May, I've got Pokemon Detective Pikachu. That is one I do want to see for that month. I've been a huge Pokemon fan since first grade, so I'm hoping this will be good. From the trailer, it looks pretty interesting. The Hustle, Ugly Dolls, John Wick Chapter 3, I'm very excited for. I definitely want to see that month. Aladdin, Ad Astra, Minecraft, the first movie. I can't believe they're making a movie out of Minecraft, but yeah. I'm interested to see what they do with it. Especially because my girlfriend's younger brother has always liked Minecraft, so I'll probably watch that with him. Brightburn, Godzilla King of Monsters, I definitely want to see that in May. And Rocket Man, the documentary about Elton John.
This month, I actually only have one, and that's Minecraft. And that's solely because...
What?
Judging on every other movie that has come out ever that's based on a video game have not been great. That's being rather generous. This looks to be quite funny. Minecraft does. So I'll probably end up going to see it just to be ironic. But other than that, nothing else here looks too intriguing to me.
That was so unexpected because you've been listing these foreign films, and then you're like, yeah, the only one I care about in the summer blockbuster month is Minecraft.
Yep.
Like, wait, what? That's funny. All right, jumping into June. Supposedly Dark Phoenix is coming out in June. Supposedly. Right. Secret Life of Pets 2. I liked the first one. Flarsky. We also have an untitled Fox/Marvel movie. Men in Black International looks really good. I'm confused. I guess Samuel L. Jackson is doing another Shaft movie, and it's just called Shaft. I haven't seen the other ones, but okay. Toy Story 4, June. I definitely have to see that one. They are also doing a remake of Child's Play. That's coming out theatrically. Yeah. As of now, we'll see about that.
I saw that an entire reboot. Oh, we actually have 2 reboots this month, and that's actually the next one. But yeah, Child's Play.Interesting that they decided to reboot this, because I know that within a few years, actually, they just had one released on Netflix, like straight to Netflix. So, well, maybe it'll be a good thing.
Surprising. Also, Did you see The Grudge is coming out in June?
I did see that The Grudge was the next, I guess it looks like a remake for
I guess so.
The popular horror. I guess there's 1 and 2. And so I have seen the first one, but I think it was just the unrated cut. And I do remember liking it, but this is not on my list of most anticipated movies.
Yeah. Limited Partners, Untitled Danny Boyle / Richard Curtis Project, and Ford v Ferrari. Right. So there's really only one movie that month that I really want to see is Toy Story 4.
Yeah. I actually have no movies this month that look intriguing that I want to see at all. This month, as of right now, I'm sure that there will be more because we have a lot here that are. Well, one of them here is untitled, and quite a number here have no cover art. So this month, obviously, is not done quite yet.
Yeah, I can understand that. I do have. I'll wait till I'll give you the rest of the list, but June is one of the months.
Yeah,
which is surprising because it's summertime. All right, for July, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Stuber, 17 Bridges, The Lion King, I would really like to see that one that month, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the new Quentin Tarantino movie, which Quentin Tarantino is showing his love even more for Sergio Leone by titling his movie as such, because Sergio Leone did Once Upon a Time in the West and Once Upon a Time in America, and he also did a third one, but it's got 3 different titles, one of which is Duck, You Sucker. So I didn't cuss, listeners, just so you know.
So for me, that actually is the only one that I have on this list is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I need to get caught up with Tarantino. I haven't seen The Hateful Eight. I haven't seen... I guess that I have seen Django Unchained, but... aside from Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill 1 and 2 and that one, I haven't seen anything else from him. So I need to get caught up with Quentin Tarantino. But this is on my list that I do want to see. It looks quite interesting because from what I've seen, I'm a pretty big fan of Tarantino's work.
In August, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. What a odd, clunky title. Listeners, yeah. I am a Fast and Furious fan. I really like those movies. So I am intrigued to see what they do with Hobbs and Shaw. The New Mutants is coming out in August.
There you go.
I guess. We'll see. Dora the Explorer, the movie, supposedly?
Yeah.
Isn't Michael Bay doing this? Or is
he on the... Well, let's see if he's on a producer.
Maybe that was a joke. Maybe that was a complete joke, but I don't know. Possible. I thought it was Michael Bay. But
it's very possible.
We're getting a Dora the Explorer live-action theatrical movie.
To be fair, though, that doesn't exactly surprise me at all. I'll kind of mention this towards the end. But, like, everything's getting a theatrical release to some extent, which is no exception to Dora the Explorer.
Well, also Artemis Fowl is the new Disney movie. Also, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Good Boys, Boss Level, Playmobil the movie. Okay.
Like I said, everything's getting a theatrical release.
We might have another Emoji movie on our hands. I don't know.
I don't want to think about that.
And
I don't want to think about that.
Angel Has Fallen, which is the third in the Gerard Butler Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen. Now we're getting Angel Has Fallen.
This is Angel Has Fallen is one of those that I'm just not even going to really spend much time looking at it. Because I saw the first one, Olympus Has Fallen, in theaters. I actually was at a drive-in with my uncle. And then I watched the second one. I think it was released on Netflix at one point. And I got through most of it and got towards like literally the climax. And I said, okay, well, I'm done. I turned it off because it was boring. So I'm not the biggest fan of this series. I don't think I'm going to go see this, Angel Has Fallen. Other than that, I don't think anything here is on my list either. Same with 2 months ago.
What? You don't want to see Hobbs and Shaw? Or Dora the Explorer?
I have only seen... I might see Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
I have to have more information on that before I decide if I want to go see it or not.
Okay.
And if I do, it'll be completely ironic.
Yes.
But Hobbs and Shaw, I mean, I've only seen Fast and Furious 6. So
you're missing out.
I don't exactly know anything of the Fast and Furious lore that much.
I love them. All right, September, which I am super excited for. It Chapter 2.
Looks okay.
What?
I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't that big of a fan of the first one.
Oh my gosh.
I think we talked about this when we watched it at your house. I was just like, yeah, it's just very much a hype train. In reality, I thought it was just fine, but nothing fantastic.
Maybe if you had read the book first, you might have liked it more.
Yeah, possibly. That's a super long book, though.
Yeah, I read the book a few
it.
summers ago. It took me 3 months, the whole summer. And I loved the book. And so when the movie came out, I was like, wow, it's really doing the book justice. And I thought it was super well done. Okay, Spies in Disguise. Looks kind of interesting. The Kitchen. Sounds pretty interesting. Abominable.
Oh, yeah. Downton Abbey, the movie?
Wait. Oh, yeah.
That's probably a pretty big deal.
That was surprising. And it looks like we're getting kind of another Smallfoot kind of ripoff called Abominable. And it's coming out in like the same month as well as Smallfoot did. And then the movie Judy. Right.
Yeah, the only one I have here on my list at all is just Judy. But Downton Abbey, the movie, does look interesting. That's kind of a big deal because I know Downton Abbey, the show, is really big and apparently really good. I haven't watched it, but yeah. Judy is on my top 10. That looks quite interesting to see a biopic of Judy Garland's performance career. I didn't exactly know she had one of those. I knew that she was in, of course, Wizard of Oz, but that was really all that I knew her from. Oh, and I guess A Star Is Born.
In October, we're getting Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, which actually looks, from everything I've seen, really solid.
It does look quite interesting. I'm excited to see what Joaquin Phoenix can do because I'm a pretty big fan of him as an actor.
Oh, yeah. Then The Woman in the Window, Zombieland 2? Still have yet to see Zombieland 1. I've seen the opening.
Been a while.
The Goldfinch, the Addams Family animated movie, which is pretty cool because the Addams Family was a really old show and then it was made into a couple movies, I think. Like with a different cast, like Tim Curry was in it. So now we're getting an animated one. That should be kind of cool. Also, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yeah, and on this list, Joker, Gemini Man, and this one, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, are on my top 10, or on my list, with Joker and Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood being on the top 10. This looks interesting, this last one here, because I know we both had seen the Won't You Be My Neighbor documentary, and we both really enjoyed it. So we'll see how this goes. And with Tom Hanks at the helm, I'm sure it'll do great. It's interesting that they're going to do an actual movie off of it and base it off of his life. That'd be interesting to see.
Especially with Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers, because I never would have pictured that. So to
be fair, I mean, he's a great actor, very versatile actor, so I'm sure he'll do fine.
So for November, kicking off November, is the Untitled Terminator reboot. Now, I really do want to see this one because James Cameron is back. It's retconning Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis, so it's serving as a direct sequel to Terminator 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger is back, Linda Hamilton is back, and they cast a kid to do some CGI facial reconstruction as the young John Connor from Terminator 2. So with all of those factors considered, I'm thinking we might get a real deal Terminator sequel.
Who'd you say was coming back?
James Cameron.
He is a producer.
Yes, he is the producer, but they said he will be kind of the godfather of the project. He will very much have his hand in the project.
Right.
And the director is the director of Deadpool, and everybody thought that was pretty good.
Is that Deadpool 1?
Well, I hated Deadpool 1. I'm just saying that a critical consensus is people liked it.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, from a editing, storytelling standpoint, it was pretty rocky. So hopefully he's learned his lesson maybe from that to this new movie. I'm not terribly excited about this new Terminator movie. I'm not too big into, well, for one, I'm not really too big into the Terminator series just in general. And then for two, I mean, I've only seen 1, 2, and I have seen Salvation, but it's been years since I've seen Salvation. And the last one that I watched was the newest one, the newest Terminator movie, and I was not a fan of it. So, not terribly excited for this new, I guess, reboot for it. Not really in the slightest.
The Terminator Genesis, the most recent one, for me it was so bad it was good. You hated it, and I gave it an 8 because I had so much fun with it.
Yeah. I will admit, I can see where the argument can be made that it is so bad that it's good. Mm-hmm. Probably if you're, I guess, deeper into the lore of Terminator, then you might find that. I didn't. I mean, I could see it. Once again, I could still see that why it would be so bad it's good, but I didn't see much out of it at all for me. Maybe if I went back and watched it now, my thoughts would change.
I guess we're getting a new Charlie's Angels movie, and then, well, I did not see any of them. I just thought it was interesting, so I thought I would mention it.
That is another reboot. Another reboot.
Yep. Also, we're getting Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I do want to see this one.
This has been very controversial and memed out. The memes have kind of subsided now, but when the poster was first released, you could not really go very far on Reddit without seeing a meme about this.
Okay. Well, after that,
Kingsman 3.
Yeah, Kingsman 3. I have yet to see Kingsman 2.
I've seen Kingsman 1, and I thought it was pretty good, but wasn't really looking to see the second, and I've heard it was just okay.
Yeah. Also, after that, Midway, Last Christmas, Margie Claus, Frozen 2.
Yeah, how interesting.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, of course, it's no surprise, but
Knives Out is the last one I have for November.
I actually have nothing for November. In fact, actually, my last one on my list was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Nothing else from November to December made it to the list at all.
Oh wow! Oh, wait, nothing in December?
Nope.
So you don't want to see the final installment of the Star Wars Luke Skywalker saga, Star Wars Episode 9.
Not necessarily. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Not necessarily. I'm not very anticipated for it. Not because I didn't like The Last Jedi. I thought The Last Jedi was fine. I'm just not very excited for it. Just in general.
Okay.
I know it's terrible. It's a very controversial statement.
Yeah. Okay. But before that, for December, I want to see Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle 2. I really enjoyed the first Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, and then Star Wars Episode 9. I want to see those two. We're getting a He-Man Masters of the Universe movie, so hopefully it's better than that 80s one.
Interesting. Wonder if who's the other character in He-Man?
Skeletor.
No, the lady.
She-Ra?
I forget her name. Yeah, that's it, She-Ra. I knew it was she something, but I couldn't remember what the second part of it was. Yeah, She-Ra. I wonder if she'll make a cameo.
Probably.
That'd be interesting.
To have the Masters of the Universe.
Yes. its own universe.
Okay, Alan, did you see Tom Hooper's Les Mis and he won like Best Director for it?
No, I've seen
The King's Speech.
maybe a scene from it, but I haven't sat down and actually watched the whole thing.
Well, you saw Tom Hooper's The King's Speech, which he won Best Picture for.
Yes. I did, yes.
Okay, well, maybe this will pique your interest. Tom Hooper's coming back this December to make it's been a long-running musical. It's been extremely popular, Cats, and he's doing a musical.
Yeah.
Now, Les Mis as a musical was incredible, and he won those awards for it. If he can recreate that with Cats, I'm super intrigued.
I'll have to look more into Cats. I know the only thing I really know about Cats in and of itself is that it was, at least at one time, and maybe still is, the longest running musical like on Broadway of all time. Yeah. Now, that was back when I checked that, like, I think it was 2007 when I looked at that, because I got one of those Guinness Book of World Records. So that's where I saw that from. Yep. But I need to look more into Cats, because I don't know too much about it. I haven't seen them play. I know that it exists, of course, but aside from that, and apparently it's the longest running Broadway show, I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, very likely could be an Oscar contender for 2020.
I'm also seeing Taylor Swift as a starring role. So,
okay.
That'd be interesting.
Well, makes sense. She'll have makeup on. But all I know about Cats is that it was on a VHS that a preview for it was on a VHS that we owned for some movie that I watched frequently, and it scared me every time because it's singing cats that look scary.
I mean, I'm sure as a kid, it would look spooky.
Oh yeah, it does. I'm intrigued to see Little Women with Timothée Chalamet and Meryl Streep and some other people. It looks to be taking place in the time of the book. Little Women, there was a Little Women adaptation that came out in 2018, which I loved, and I think it made like my top list. I'm sure not everybody feels that way, but I really loved it.
And it's directed by Greta Gerwig, who did Lady Bird.
Yeah.
So that does pique my interest a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
And yeah, Saoirse Ronan is also returning still.
Aha. Yeah. I have a feeling it'll be pretty good. Hopefully they'll stick to the source material with it.
Right.
1917, and for rounding it off, my 99th film, Call of the Wild.
Yeah, I guess I could probably add Little Women to my list, but that's only on the basis that I enjoyed Lady Bird.
Yes.
Now, of course, this month is very rocky because we know for a fact that there will be more added to this, and there will most likely be things being pushed back in this list. Because I know we have one here that's 1917, has no plot to it aside from the fact that it's set during World War One. And a lot of these don't have any box art or have any art, or if they do have art, it's not the correct image like Star Wars. It doesn't have art for it yet, or at least not in the scale of a movie poster.
I did notice in 2019 we're getting quite a few war movies, and we're getting quite a few like science fiction space films.
I think 2019 is going to be like the year for animated films because there are so many animated films. Like every month has one almost.
Yes, that
especially in the summer. Like Dora the Explorer, I'm sure will be an animated film. The one we talked about, the Lakia Project, is an animated film. All kinds, all over the place.
So the best months that I think will be are March, May, and December. The worst months look to be January and August, which is no surprise about January. And every year, August consistently is usually a very dry month between August and September because it's kind of right after the summer blockbuster season and right before the big December season. So they're really dry. The only thing that's going to keep me going is It, probably. That comes out in September. The Meh months are February, June, July, September, and October actually looks to be a family-friendly horror month. The biggest months with just a ton of releases look to be March, April, May, June, November, and December.
Yeah, I'm sure December will be a huge month, not just because of Star Wars, but Masters of the Universe is going to be extremely nostalgic for a lot of people. Jumanji 2, which I know the first one did pretty well in the box office and everyone really seemed to enjoy it, is also going to do pretty well in this next installment. And of course, we have a lot more coming out that haven't been announced that they're going to be releasing in December quite yet. or even in just in general, this last 3 or 4 months of the year is going to change quite a bit. So we'll see what else comes out. But yeah, overall, honestly, from what I'm seeing right now, in the about middle to beginning part of January, the year looks okay to me. That's just my own personal thoughts. There are a ton of adapted works being released this year. A ton. Most of them are animated. I think, like I mentioned just a second ago, like He-Man or the Lakia project. Okay, that one's not really adapted, but the Dora the Explorer project, Playmobil the movie. A lot of adaptions from different kinds of works here. Playmobil was more of a, I guess, a toy, but we got the Emoji Movie, so there's that.
Well, listeners, I want to just give you my top 10 most anticipated movies real quick so you can kind of have a list, kind of a number, knowing where I'm at with, because I rattled off a lot of movies there. So starting with number 10 being my kind of least anticipated, number 1 being my most anticipated. Number 10 is Hellboy. Number 9, Godzilla King of Monsters. Number 8, Dumbo. Number 7, Captain Marvel. Number 6, Us. Number 5, John Wick Chapter 3. Number 4, Avengers Endgame. Number 3, It Chapter 2. Number 2, Star Wars Episode 9. And number 1, Toy Story 4. So we'll see how that goes.
And for me, this top 10 is really in no particular order. I don't exactly have... Biggest reason is I don't really have a lot of information for a number of these yet, so I don't really know how to put them in the list. But just this is kind of going from, like I mentioned in the beginning, the chronological order of my top 10. So my top 10 here is Bricked, Jacob's Ladder, Todos Los Sambin, or Everybody Knows, Us, Mon Garcon, which I think I mentioned earlier, High Life, Minecraft, Judy, Joker, and Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Those are my top 10. Once again, in no particular order as of right now.
Well, listeners, that about wraps it up for our discussion over the most anticipated movies we're looking forward to in 2019. But we want to know what movies you're looking forward to. So go ahead and leave us your top 10 list, or top 5, in the comments below of what you think are going to be the best movies in 2019, or just what movies you're most looking forward to. We will be coming back to you very soon with our Oscar predictions podcast. So before the actual Oscar list is released, which is coming up very soon, we will be giving you what movies we think should be nominated for the Academy, or what movies might be nominated for this year's Oscars. So you'll want to make sure to click subscribe to hear that as well. And then once the Oscars are announced, we will give just our thoughts on, oh, wow, okay, that's really surprising, or that makes sense. We'll kind of break down all the Oscar nominations for you. And then, of course, next month we'll be coming to you. Alan and I will watch the Oscars together, just like we did last year. And then we will do a post-discussion podcast talking about the big winners and losers of the night. I love Oscar season. I'm really looking forward to that. We had a blast doing that last year, getting to watch all of those Oscar movies and talk about them. So you won't want to miss out, listeners, and you'll want to share this with your friends as well. So go ahead and click subscribe right now, and then go ahead and share this episode with your friends and family. We love talking about movies, and we love talking about them with you. And to stay connected and engaged with us here at Silver Screen Guide, we have Facebook, Twitter. We've got all kinds of platforms for you to engage on. So just look in the description below and you'll find those links clear and easy for you to click on, and go ahead and follow us there as well. So you'll always stay up to date on our latest developments, our latest podcasts, our latest movie reviews and news as well. Also, if you did like this podcast and you do want to support us for just the price of a Starbucks cup of coffee, you will unlock all kinds of exclusive content. We've got bonus podcasts, audio commentaries, Q&As. You can ask us any questions as well. Go ahead and click on the Patreon link in the description below and go ahead and subscribe over there, and you'll get lots of great content that you will be able to keep and you'll be able to enjoy that nobody else will have access to except other subscribers. And you can interact with us over there. That's the best way to talk and interact with us. If you're listening on iTunes, we do appreciate you leaving a 5-star review. That does help us in the rankings, get noticed so other people can find our podcasts as well. And then if you're on any other podcast subscriptions service, go ahead and follow us on there as well. We want to thank you, listeners, for joining Alan and I. Thanks for joining me, Alan.
You're welcome.
And we look forward to coming back to you very soon with our Oscar predictions for the 2019 Academy Awards season. Thanks, listeners, and we will see you next week. Also, I did notice a few interesting things that it's kind of cool. We kind of chronicle this because then we can go back and see like, oh, that movie didn't come out that month. Like, for instance, First Man was supposed to come out in October.
That's right. Yeah, and it was pushed back, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was pushed forward. I don't even remember when we saw that movie now. I'm gonna.
I know it's been.
We'll have to edit this.
It's funny because it's only been a few months. Here we go. I can pull it up right now. I've got it in the podcast info spreadsheet, which you need to look at.
Wait, did it come out in October?
October 13th. Okay, we released it October 22nd. And we recorded it the week before, so October 13th, which wouldn't have been no more than a few days after we saw the movie, I don't think.
Okay, we're going to have to edit that whole thing out because I thought that came out like early 2018 for some reason. Gosh, I remember that completely wrong.
Complete opposite end of the year there.
Okay, just edit this whole entire section out.
Okay.
Great. Gosh. Okay. But gosh, what do I say? Let me just redo the whole thing.
Okay.
But then after that, a movie called Arctic Thunder Squad, whatever. This movie has Mads Mikkelsen. It sounds interesting. Mads Mikkelsen is also coming out in another movie called Polar. I think it's a Netflix movie. I don't know. It's based off a graphic novel.
Where'd you go?
Are you frozen? Are you still there? I think you're frozen.
Where'd you go?
Like in the Arctic or Polar. Dang it. Hello? Are you there? Hello? Hello? I think I should hang up. I can't even hang up because I don't have the tools. Meh. Darn it. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, we're back.
So what happened?
I don't know. I was just talking and then all of a sudden you just froze. And then I was like, is he there? Alan, are you there? And I was talking about two movies that involve like Arctic and Polar, which are like frozen movies, and then you froze.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So who knows? And then I couldn't even access the controls to end the call, so I had to just close out of the whole window.
Great. Nice.
Oh well.
Google.
So did I freeze too?
Oh yeah, no. Actually, you just left. You just gone. You just cut out when you were talking, and said you left the call.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So do you remember the last thing you heard me say?
No, I don't.
All right, that's okay. I'll just jump back in to just start all over with the whole episode. No, I'm just kidding.
I wanted to say, hopefully he didn't lose, because he said it pooped. I was like, oh, hopefully he didn't just lose all that audio. That would be bad.
No, definitely not. Wait. Stupid reminders always want to The computer always wants to restart when we do a podcast.
Classic
Ready?
Windows.
Restart now. Not ready?
Yes.
Pick a time that works for you. Remind me tomorrow, dadgummit.
Not today.
Okay, so now it's just gonna give me the blue circle. The Microsoft version of the colorful pinwheel. Dang it. Why is it so hard to record a short episode? Okay, well, I'll tell you a short story while I make sure this is all... Ah!
Oh! Uh-oh. He left again. Hello again.
I can't see... Oh, wait, now I see it. Okay, so basically what happened is I was trying to click the little dialog box at the bottom of the screen to get rid of the reminder to, like, restart my computer, and it, like, disappeared at the exact same time, and it was hovering right over end call. So into the call.
That's what I was wondering what happened. If, like, you accidentally clicked end call because you're like, nah, right before you left. I was like, uh-oh.
That's basically what happened. Dang it. Well, this will make for a funny blooper reel for the audience.
Yeah.